From the PEP Radio Newsroom, these are the stories we are covering at this hour. In an act of total stupidity and ignorance, Utah has become the first state to ban fluoride in public drinking water, over opposition from dentists and national health organizations who warn the move will lead to medical problems and disproportionately affect low-income communities. Republican Governor Spencer Cox signed legislation Thursday that bars cities and communities from deciding whether to add the mineral to their water systems. Fluoride strengthens teeth and reduces cavities by replacing minerals lost during normal wear and tear, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Utah lawmakers who pushed for a ban said putting fluoride in water was just too expensive. Cox, who grew up and raised his own children in a community without fluoridated water, compared it recently to being medicated by the government. Because, dental visits to tend to children who have massive cavities in their teeth is going to be a whole lot cheaper and easier, right? Am I right? The ban, which is effective May 7th, comes weeks after U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who has expressed skepticism about water fluoridation, was sworn into office. The American Dental Association sharply criticized Cox and Utah lawmakers, saying the ban showed wanton disregard for the oral health and well-being of their constituents. In their latest effort to regain some sense of leadership in Washington, D.C., candidates are taking final steps before special elections in Florida. Democrats, with few electoral outlets for their outrage at President Donald Trump's dramatic restructuring of the federal government, are pouring millions of dollars into two special elections in Florida. That's where Democratic candidates are trying to accomplish the improbable by flipping a pair of Trump-friendly congressional seats and carving into Republicans' narrow 218 to 213 majority in the U.S. House of Representatives. While Democratic leaders aren't predicting outright wins in such Republican-leaning districts, they say they think they'll exceed expectations, and they sound especially hopeful about the 6th congressional district, where a public school teacher has outraised a Trump-endorsed state senator by a nearly 10-to-1 margin in the race to replace Mike Waltz, who was tapped by Trump to be a national security advisor in what was widely seen as a move without much political risk. Maybe not political risk, but I'm telling you, it has sure been a national security risk ever since he's been in. Don't believe me? Just ask Jeffrey Goldberg. Democrats' challenge in both districts is formidable, but the money has been pouring in. The floodgates have really opened, said Aubrey Jewett, a political scientist at the University of Central Florida. It's like, wow. Republicans, including Trump, have noticed too, and are looking to head off an embarrassing outcome. The president joined both Republican candidates by telephone on separate teletown halls on Thursday to help get out the vote in the all-important elections. Winning both races next Tuesday would be colossal for a Democratic Party that has struggled to settle on a way to push back during the early days of the second Trump administration. Winning either, or even narrowing the margin in districts the president won by more than 30 points less than 5 months ago, could help alleviate the panic that set in among party leaders after Republicans swept both houses of Congress and the presidency in November. The march of homophobic court rulings has finally stretched once again into Trinidad and Tobago. Anyway, they've reinstated a ban on homosexuality, which was lifted by the Caribbean nation's High Court in 2018. That year, the High Court in the Christian majority nation ruled in a lawsuit brought by LGBTQ plus activist Jason Jones that Sections 13 and 16 of the Sexual Offenses Act are irrational and illegal because they violate the rights to privacy and freedom of expression. When I think the judge pointed out was, here, every creed and race find an equal place, and I think we must all come together now and embrace each other in true love and respect, Jones said at the time. But on March 25th, the Court of Appeals reversed that decision, saying that only Parliament can overturn the country's ban on homosexuality. The Court of Appeals also reduced the maximum sentence associated with homosexuality to 5 years in prison. Oh, only 5 years in prison. Prior to 2018, the maximum penalty was 25 years in prison. So Trinidad and Tobago, you have just set yourself at pretty much equal length and level as Ghana. Okay? As nations go to visit, well, check Trinidad and Tobago off the list of potential vacation destinations for the foreseeable future. I got to tell you, that's the news at this hour. Let's get back to some more music on PEP Radio.